We are ready. Okay. We're starting on the bottom of Dalet Amud Bet. We're starting the Masechet Beitza Daf Hey. The Gemara says, Rav Shmuel, Rav and Shmuel da Amri Tarvaihu. The two of them agree, and they say, sorry, Itmar. I said, too late. Itmar Shnei Yamim Tovim Shel Rosh Hashanah. 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. So we said Shnei Yamim Tovim Shel Galuyot. Rav says Nolda Bazeh Muter Bazeh. Rav Asi says Nolda Bazeh Asura Bazeh. Right? And the question was Shtei Kedushot or Kedusha Achat. Rav said it's Shtei Kedushot. Right? Meaning it's either today or tomorrow. Rav Asi said he's not sure. The Gemara says, what is Rav Asi thinking? Rav Asi says it makes sense like Rav Asi that it's really one Kedusha. It's a takana to make 2 days as one Kedusha. Because nowadays that we know, B'ki'im B'kiva Diyarcha, yet we're still keeping 2 days. Must be it was a takana Chachamim. So the Gemara said, no, it's not the real reason. Who explained it? He says, really, the Gemara sent from Israel. Really, it's who said? Abaye said it makes sense like Rav. Why? Because they used to do the masuot. He says, if we get back to the masuot, it would be good. So how come we keep 2 days? Takana Chachamim, later Takana Chachamim. What was the Takana Chachamim? Not as Kedusha Achat. Izaharu b'minhag avotechem. Keep it the way you had it. Just like you had it as Shtei Kedushot. Continue with Shtei Kedushot. So Shtei Yamim Tovim Shel Galuyot, since it started off as a Safek, which is Shtei Kedushot, either today, either tomorrow, so too when we continue, Izaharu b'minhag avotechem, we're continuing on such a track of either today, either tomorrow. Then the Gemara says, Itmar Shnei Yamim Tovim Shel Rosh Hashanah. What about 2 days of Rosh Hashanah? Now, theoretically, 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, same thing. I don't know when Rosh Hashanah was. It was either today, it was either yesterday. So let it be the same thing. No. Rav Shmuel da Amri Tarvayu. Over here, Shmuel comes along with Rav, and they both say, Nolda Bazeh, Asura Bazeh. If it's born today, it's Asur the next day. So even though it's two different days, born on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, you can't eat on the second day. This is Rav who himself holds. By Shnei Yamim Tovim Shel Galuyot, it's Mutar Bazeh. On Rosh Hashanah, he holds it's Asur. Says the Gemara, the Tanan, we learned.
So what's Kedusha Achat according to him?
Yeah, the Tanan, Bari Shona, Hayu Mekablin, Eduta Chodesh Kol Hayom. In the beginning, they would accept the Edim all day. Meaning, look in Rashi. Asura Bazeh, Shehem Vadai. 2 days Rosh Hashanah, it's Vadai. Hokabua, Liyot Kiyom Aroch. It's like one long day, Midrabanan. Now, it means one long day. It doesn't mean it's 1 day. It's 2 separate days. You can't cook from one to the other. One long day means it's one Kedusha, Legabe, that it's Vadai. They're both Vadai. Midrabanan. Shemitchila, Lo Mehamat Safek, Hithilu La'asotam. When they started, they didn't start misafek. So Bari Shona Kol Hayom. What's Kol Hayom? Shaloshim Shel Elul. The 30th day of Elul, right? So the 30th day of Elul could be Rosh Hashanah. Ubema'arav umiba'erev hayu asurim b'mlacha. So now, what are you going to do? The Edim are coming in the morning. The Beitin is going to do in the morning. So it's the night of the 30th of Elul. Should we say Ahot Ketana or should we just start from Hashem Tzvot Imanu? Or maybe tomorrow it's going to be Rosh Hashanah. Should we eat the Simanim or should we not eat the Simanim? Should we keep Isur Melacha or not? Nobody knows. So it's a Safek D'Oraita, right? Umi ba'erev hayu asurim b'melacha. Shema yitkadesh hachodesh lemahar. Maybe tomorrow is going to be Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Hashanah. V'nimtza shahalayla hazeh Yom Tov. Sheken kol hayom mitzapim le'edut ro'eh levana. The whole day they're waiting for the edim who saw the moon. Ulay yabo V'chol sha'a shebain ad shetechshach. As long as they come until dark, hayu mekablim edutan. They could take the edut. Umekadeshim achodesh bo bayom. So you have this wild situation. It's Rosh Hashanah. We're not sure yet. We'll let you know tomorrow. Got to do everything. So you blow shofar.
No, in the morning.
I mean, you got to blow shofar. We're talking about Yisum Elacha, but what are you going to do the whole day? You're praying in Tel Aviv. What are you going to do? You blow shofar.
They're gonna do everything.
Until the end comes.
Bakol mikol kol. You're never going to find out. You're in Tel Aviv. In Yerushalayim, maybe you'll find out. Right? So, Barishona, you mekabli medut hachodesh kol hayom. What do we mean the whole day? All the way, even until after, till Shkia, right? And if the Edim came, right, they ran in 5 minutes before Shkia, right? So what do you gain? Tomorrow's not Rosh Hashanah.
Tomorrow go to work.
Tomorrow go to work.
You assume
Right? You have a day before Tzom Gedalia.
No, that's a machloket in itself.
Maybe, yeah, okay. Right? Hayu mekabli medut hachodesh kol hayom. Pa'am achat, one time, nishtahu ha'edim lavo. One time the edim really came late. There was I don't know, traffic, right? V'nitkalkelu ha'leviim b'shir, and the Leviim got messed up in the shir. Hitkinu, so they made an institution. Shelo yu mekablim et edim el ad mincha. From now on until the mincha, is it 3:30? Till 3:30, we'll take edim. No, that's when they bring the korban. If the edim came after the time of the mincha of the Tamishul ben Arbaim, so what do we do? No takana. Nohagim oto hayom kodesh. Ulmahar kodesh. We're going to keep 2 days. Today kodesh because they came. Tomorrow kodesh because once we said that we're not accepting the edim, right? So tomorrow's the day we push the Yom Tov to tomorrow. So that's that concept. That concept means that sometimes both days are kodesh vadai.
When the edim come,
Meaning, sometimes when the edim come after mincha, if the edim came before mincha, so today is kodesh. If the edim didn't come today, the edim showed up tomorrow. So then today wasn't kodesh. Tomorrow was kodesh. You kept the whole day. Okay, this is what we told you to do because it's the only thing to do. But it was a fake sketch, right? But if the edim come after mincha, what happens? Then the chachamim made a takana chachamim. 2 days Rosh Hashanah vadai. There's such a possibility. There's a zone. If the edim come from 3:30 to 6, right? Then there's bingo. 2 days Rosh Hashanah. That's not a safek. That's vadai 2 days.
The right day really was today.
we don't care.
Tomorrow's fake.
No, tomorrow's real because we didn't accept the edim today. We didn't accept him today. We didn't accept the edim. If let's say the edim saw the moon and they get there 2 days later, there was traffic on the BQE, right? The edim didn't come, so it's not Rosh Chodesh. The edim doesn't make it Rosh Chodesh. The bedim being mekadesh Chodesh makes it Rosh Chodesh, right? So they were mekadesh Chodesh. Atem afilu shogigim, atem afilu mezidim. Doesn't make them. So the real day is the second day. But the Chachamim made a takana that 2 days are kodesh. So we have 2 days that are Yom Tov.
But not always.
Not always, but it's possible. But it's possible. You're right.
When it gets to Rabbah, it's really safek, because sometimes it's 1 day, sometimes it's 2 days, depending on when was the...
We always have to worry that it was 2 days. You sitting over here in New York, you have to worry maybe the edim are coming after what's it called? Oh, meaning more than that. You're going to do 2 days anyway. But the chiddush is you're making 2 days as vadai because you know something. It's possible that it was a vadai. What are the odds? I don't know what the odds are, but it's possible. Let's see Rashi. V'nitkalkelu alvim b'shir. Very interesting Rashi. Tamid shel ben ha'arbaim. It was the afternoon tamid. She'amru bo shira shel chol, and they said the shira shel chol. Shayu sevurim Shelo yavo. This is for all those guys that take Chazanut very seriously, right? So I did the wrong ma'am, right? Shehayu sevurim.
They probably have it from every day.
I have no idea. Shehayu sevurim shelo yavo od. They thought the edim are not coming. V'hayom hol. Uchshebau, when they came, nimtza shu kodesh. Ubeshel shachar en ta'ut. There's no mistake in the morning. Tebetamid shel shachar. Afilu hukdash hachodesh kodem. Let's say the edim saw it in the Beit HaMikdash. They went to the Beitin Vatikin. Right after Vatikin, they went and they told them, and they went mekudash. Right? Kodem akrakavato. Shir shel chol hayu omim. They said the weekday shir. Lefi sheberov hashanim en ha'edim memaharim lavo kol kach. Most years the edim don't come so early. Most years.
So the Levim never had.
The morning shir is the same. The shir of Rosh Hashanah was in the afternoon. They did in the afternoon.
What do they do with Musaf?
It's an excellent question, Mr. Stein. Let's see. ונתקלקלו הלווים בשיר, look into תוספות, בשיר של בין הערביים מיילי, שאמרו שיר של חול, שלא יסבו שעודים אותו היום, ונהגו אותו יום חול, וכשבאו לאחר המנחה נמצא שהיום קודש. אבל אין אומר בשיר של שחרית, שאמרו של חול, בתמיד של שחרית, שהרי אפילו באו קודם הקרבת תמיד של שחרית, היו אומרים שיר של חול כדמרים ראש שנה. לפי שרוב השנים, לא היו ממהרים כל כך לבוא. וכשרבנו פרץ, והיכה קלקול גבי מוספים, you have a מוסף problem. ועמי לא חשו, אלא על עבודת התמיד. דכשבאו עדים מן המנחה ולמעלה, כבר הקריבו התמיד, ואם כן, אין יכולים להקריב המוספים, דכתיב, והקטיר עליה חלבי השלמים, ודרשינן עליה השלם כל הקורבנות כולם, שאין קורבן קרב לאחריה. You don't bring a korban after the tamid shel ben ha'arba'im. So right, the whole day they're waiting there. They're waiting. Should we bring the musaf? Should we not bring the musaf? Right? 3:30. Right? 3:30 comes. Right? Charles comes out. He says it's time to bring the musaf. Korban tamid shel ben ha'arba'im. They bring the tamid shel ben ha'arba'im. That's it. The edim show up late. Sorry, we brought the Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim. But Musaf, it's too late.
Why couldn't they delay the Musaf to the final moment?
Why?
Delay the Musaf.
What? I don't know. Whatever it is.
There's a time when they do it.
Not a
Anyway,
You don't know Charles, right?
No.
That's not Charles.
just delay it, and just this one day a year. I'm not saying any other day.
I don't know.
No what day it is.
I assume they did delay it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Right? But the question is, why you so worried about the Shirah? The Shirah is important, but Musaf. What? It's Thursday is the Shir of Rosh Hashanah. I don't know. Maybe they had different man. Different man, maybe. Okay. Says Gemara. V'tiretz. דאפילו לא באו עד לאחר הקרבת התמיד, מכל מקום המוספים קרבים. They would bring the musaf. דהיכא דלא אפשר שאני, when you have no option, you do that. מידי דהווה המחוסר כיפורים בערב פסח. Right? We said, let's say a guy comes into the Beit HaMikdash after, right? He comes with his korban pesach. He says, guess what? I'm a zav on the 8th day. I need to bring a korban. So, okay, so we bring it for him. Right? שמביא כפרתו לאחר הקרבת התמיד של בין הערביים, ואוכל פסחו בערב. והכי אמרינו עם פרק תמיד נשחט. ועוד יש לומר, I don't think this is in order, but...
That's a cheap answer, because what they did over there, they left his korban on the side on top of his bath. They didn't burn it.
Maybe they did the same thing here. They can't.
Let's go on to boot.
No. That's a hatat. ועוד יש לומר, ועוד יש לומר, דעתי עשה דרבים, V'dachi yaseh da hashlama mishum da'alim tafen. Asev Rabim is stronger. Tahachi amrinu v'tamid nishchat. Ta'ati yaseh the Pesach. The anush karet. V'dachi yaseh da hashlama the eno anush karet. V'yesh mefarshim.
What's that? Shlama is also Rabbi.
No.
Who's it?
Alei Hashem kol hakorban v'kulam. I don't know what it says.
It's not on me. It's on the korban of the
Maybe.
Tamid.
Okay. V'yesh mefarshim. I'm not sure. It's a good question. V'yesh mefarshim. The mi'ikara aitu hatamid. They brought the tamid. Umatnu, and they made a t'nai on the korban tamid. Em lo yavo edim yehe tamid. Ve'em yavo yeh min hamusafim.
Wow.
So
It's the same animal, everything's the same.
Yeah, but
They have.
you do
Shiva kevasim. The musaf has. Right, par, elim, kevasim.
you do this
order.
No, the tamid is a kevis. So this is a kevis as part of the musaf.
It's a lot more korbanot.
Yeah. What?
They're in order to bring the musafim.
I don't know. So we'll be a little out of order.
Why
No.
can't you just bring?
Rabbi,
Why
it's
is it
okay
gonna
to
bring
bring
it?
potentially korbanot that are useless?
no, it's not useless.
It's either from the time. First of all, they kids have mizbeach anyway.
If it's whole, then what are you doing all these korbanot?
You always
No,
like
no,
a whole.
no,
You can do
no,
what you
no,
want.
no,
Well, you do what you want. It's Yom Tov. Yeah, that's why they have to say it's part of the musaf, right? ואחר כך יביאו את התמיד ושאר קורבנות ולא נהירה. דאיקה בהד יהתם דאמרו שיר של חול עם תמיד של בין הארבעים. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Why can't they just bring the tamid to like
Just ship back
5:59?
that's his question.
What can they do?
I don't
Go
know.
for it.
It's not out of time. Still could.
Takes a full hour with the
So bring it at 5 o'clock.
says the Gemara. I don't know.
But when you stuck over here in the situation,
ואם באו עדים, אנחנו על מעלה נוהגים אותו יום, and if עדים come at 5:55, they still have the same problem. So what you get? ואם נהגו, נוהגים רש"י, עד המנחה, עד הקרבת הבין של בין הארבעים. אבל לאחר מכאן, after that, אותו היום, הרי הוא מעובר. That day, as we say, it's a leap month. Umonim, so we're going to count miyom ha'machorat from the 31st day, lo yom ha'kippurim v'sukkot. Ve'em ba'u edim men ha'mincha u'lema'ala, af al pi she'en monim le'mo'adot mehayom, even though we're not going to count to the holidays from today, because we pushed it to tomorrow, lo mezalzelin ambei v'hai shloshim. We're not lenient in the 30th day. Ela gomrim oto be'isuro. We complete it in the isur ka'asher huzharu ad mincha mimelacha. Kach nohagim. Gomrim oto be'kedushato. Alma yisi techilat asiyah shnei yamim leRosh Hashanah afilu bebetin hava. We started doing 2 days Rosh Hashanah, potentially even in Betin where we know what the story is. Velo misafek, not as a safek. Share vaday Yom Tov lemachar. I know Yom Tov is tomorrow. Ve'afal piken tiknu la'asoto. They told you to keep today too. Shma mina we see Hol Chachamim u'misvatan haya. It was a takana Chachamim and a mitzvah la'asotan to make 2 days. Ve'vau edim ahara mincha ve'archokim. So in the Beit Avad, right? If you were privy to the inside information, sometimes you kept 1 day, sometimes you kept 2 days. When you kept 2 days, you were keeping it not misafek, v'adai. V'harchokim, so the people that are far away, yesh alehem la'asotam b'chol shana. They have to keep 2 days every year. Shema yavo edim ahar mincha. Maybe the edim are coming after mincha. V'areh kedushato ahat. In that case, it's one big kedusha. You can't say, no, for sure one of the days is chol. The Shema en kan chol. Maybe there's no chol over here. You're right, maybe one is chol, but maybe not. Ela shenehem kodesh. So that's what Rav and Shmuel said. They said 2 days Rosh Hashanah is Kiddusha Achat because potentially they came onto a situation of 2 days Kodesh. Amar Rabba comes and he says as follows. מתקנת רבן יוחנן בן זכאי, ואילך ביצה מותרת. After Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai came along, the ביצה is mutar. The Tanan we learned, מי שחרב בית המקדש, after the בית המקדש got destroyed, התקין רבן יוחנן בן זכאי, שיהיו מקבלים עדות החודש כל היום. He says you can take the עדות החודש all day. Unfortunately, there's no korban tamid shel ben arba'im. There's no shira. There's no reason why not to be mekadesh today.
So they used to do Kiddush the day even after the Besh was destroyed. They did that.
They did, sure.
If they had a-
מתקנת רבן יוחנן זכאי ראשי, שהחזיר הדבר ליושנו. He brought it back to the way it was. לקבל עדותן כל היום. ולקדש היום, and we'll say that today is קודש.
Not a problem, Rabbi.
נמצא שאין ביתים.
Bedin, how could he nullify bit?
That's a good question, Adam. נמצא שאין ביתים.
They don't come, you still do the second day.
If they don't come, they didn't come.
It's still 2 days.
Outside of the Beit, I mean, outside of the Beit Avad. But in the Beit Avad, there's one day.
But they didn't show up. Yeah,
In the Beit Avad, either today is Kodesh or tomorrow's Kodesh. If they came today, today's Kodesh. If they came tomorrow, tomorrow's Kodesh. But you never have 2 days.
But they just keep the first day, no?
Of course, they kept the first day.
So it's 2 days.
Something.
It's not Vadai. You never, according in Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai's world, you never have 2 days Vadai. Either today is Kodesh or tomorrow's Kodesh.
Even though they kept 2 days, but one of them is.
If the Adim came, there's
One
gonna
second.
be
In the
first
Beit
day
Avad,
only.
they only have to keep 1 day.
Yeah.
For sure.
But sometimes it's 1 day, sometimes.
No
2 days.
problem. Outside of the Beit Avad, they keep it, but it's like 2 days Pesach.
Okay.
Right? Osim shnei yamim v'archokim ha'osim shnei yamim. When they're doing 2 days, enu ela misafek she'en yodim. They don't know אם תתקדש ביום השלושים או אם בשלושים ואחד. והרי הן כשאר יום טוב של גלויות. It's like every other יום טוב שני של גלויות. And therefore, ביצה שנולדה בזה מותרת בזה ממה נפשה.
It's like every
דחד מינה יאכל. אמר לי אביי. So Abaye turns to Rabbi and he tells him, 1 second. He says, Ravu Shmuel the Amri Tarvayu. Rav and Shmuel both say, Beitza Asura. They say the Beitza is Asura on the second day. Right? Amar Lei told him, Amina Lechana Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. I'm telling you, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Ve'at Amartli Ravu Shmuel. He says, who should I follow? Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai or Rav and Shmuel?
Tanan, they're in.
Yeah, says the Gemara. Ul Ravu Shmuel Kashya Matnitim. The Mishnah has a question. Amar Lei says Gemara Lo Kashya. Halan Halehu. This is for us. This is for them. Difficult. Rashi. Ul Ravu Shmuel Kashya Matnitim. The Katani the Hazara Davar Liyoshno. Why are they Ki'ilu Lifnei Takana? You're living in the old days, Rabbi Shmuel. You forgot about Yochanan ben Zakkai? So he says, no. Halan halehu. Livnei Eretz Yisrael, for the people in Israel. She'osim yom echad, that they make 1 day. Muteret, it's mutar. Aval lididan, but for us. Bnei Gola, the people outside of Eretz Yisrael. Asura. Share adayim anu osim shnei yamin.
That's what they did 2 days. Even in Israel.
In some place in Israel, they made 1 day. In the Beit Avad, they made 1 day. שעדיין אנו עושים 2 ימים. ועודנו כבתחילה מפני אותה תקנה ראשונה. לא מפני ספק. Meaning we're still continuing from the original takana. A very interesting reason. הלקח הואיל ולא פסקו מאצלנו מי שהתחלנו. Since we never start making 2 days, אין להקל ולומר, אין מנהגנו זה, מפני תקנה ראשונה, אלא מפני הספק וביצה מותרת. So they'll say, now that we're making 2 days after Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, we're doing it because of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's reason, because it's a safek, not because of the reason of the original metaknim, שלא יהיו מקבלים עדות החודש, אלא עד המנחה. You can't say that. Why? תכיוון דלא פסקה אותה תקנה מאצלנו שנה אחת לעשות יום אחד. We never broke the streak. We never did 1 day.
If the Adim came, we're still doing 2 days.
We have no idea. We always making 2 days because we don't know if the edim came.
But we
So-
switch in the middle.
You can't switch in the
Not outside
middle.
Israel.
That's what he's saying. You can't switch in the middle. You can't say in the beginning it was 2 days being safek of vadai, and now that there's no safek vadai, we're doing it because of only of safek. There's no, we can't do that. Adayin bi'isurenu harishona omadnu liyotam ki yom aruch.
But in Yerushalayim they did.
What in Israel, in Yerushalayim, where sometimes they had 1 day.
They have
Okay, so they changed. Well, now when they're making 2 days, it's because of safek
So you could eat the beitza.
in Israel. But outside of Israel, I don't understand why Israel. In Tel Aviv, they never made 1 day. How'd they make 1 day? Maybe runners came from Yerushalayim on the second day. They told them in the middle of Musaf, we cancel.
No, Rabbi.
Hold off on the
Rabbi,
shofar
they could
for the
go
last
Mosai.
day.
They could go Mosai Yom Tov. Mosai Yom Tov Rishon.
I'm saying
Then they get
the runners came to Tel Aviv and they told them cancel. Maybe that's the reason according to Rabbi. Then the Gemara says, Rav Yosef Amar. Rav Yosef says, Af mitakanat Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai va'elach beitza asura. Even after the takanah of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, the beitza stays asur. My ta'ama. What's the reason? Have davar shebebinyan. The beitza is a davar shebebinyan. It was instituted with a Sanhedrin. They called davar shebebinyan. Anything that was instituted with the Sanhedrin, tzarich minyan achel hatiro, needs another minyan to be matir. Rashi have davar shebebinyan. Beitza zu ne'esra b'kibbutz chachamim, was ne'esra with the kibbutz chachamim. Shenimnu vegamru. They made a meeting and they decided la'asotam shnei yamim kedusha ahad. 2 days, 1 kedusha. Im lo ba'u edim lefnei mincha. If the edim didn't come before mincha, v'chol ha'osim, if they didn't come before, v'chol ha'osim shnei yamim mehamat ken asu. Everybody's making 2 days. Does it for this? Shema lo ba'u edim lebedin kodem mincha. Maybe they didn't come before mincha. Tzarich minyan acher. You need another group. That should make another meeting and vote to undo the takana. Ulkaman parchin, and the Gemara is going to ask later, did they ever make a vote about the beitza? They only made a meeting about whether to take the edut. About that, but right now,
Once they had the Aidud, that means the beitza is asura.
they said, ready? Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yosef, Mina Minallah. How do I know that the davar shebebinyan needs binyan achelati? Or dichtiv, lech emor lahem, go tell them, shuvu lachem, le'aolechem. Go back to your tents. Rashi. Mina Minallah. How do I know the kol davar ne'esar bebinyan? Tzarich binyan achelati. Va'afilu ira davar, even if something happens, she'ata yachol lehorot bo heter, meaning the reason for the takana went away. Velomar en takanat minyan harishon omedet. The original takana is not standing anymore. Ki hacha, like over here. Afilu hachi asur, meaning over here we changed what? In the beginning we didn't take the edim all day. Now we are taking them all day. Even so, unless we specifically undid the takana beitza, it's going to last. Afilu hachi asur ad shiatiru beferush bekibbutz hachamim. You have to undo the takana. Lech emor lahem lekaman mefarish la hechi alif. How we learn, right? Lechaura, right? They used to be when the alti gishul isha, and then he had to tell them go back to your wives. So even though you mean Matan Torah is over, the whole point was for Matan Torah. Now it's over. What do you have to tell me to go back home? So no, you have to say you need a minyan ha'elev to be matir.
All day is Arbit.
What?
All day is Arbit.
All day?
It's Arbit.
No. They told them don't be with your wives until Matan Torah. Matan Torah is finished. But you have to tell me to go back home, right? The Omer, another proof. Bimshoch hayovel, when they blow the shofar or they stop blowing the shofar, hema ya'alu bahar. Then you can go on the mountain. Rashi. The Omer bimshoch hayovel lekama mefarish. The Tanya, and we have a bright over Tanan. Kerem revai haya olel Yerushalayim. Mahalach yom echad lekol tzad. Vezuhi tehuma, right? This is where the boundary is. So look in Rashi, Kerem Revai, Sha'amra Torah Kodesh Ilulim. Right? The 4th year is Kodesh. You have to bring the food to Yerushalayim and eat it in Yerushalayim. The Gamrina Kodesh Kodesh Mima'asir Sheni. We learn the Gezerah Shava from Ma'asir Sheni. What type of Kedusha? The Chtiv Be Kodesh. It says, V'chol Ma'asar Haaretz Mizeras Mipri Ha'etz. Shetzarich Leha'alot HaPerot L'Yerushalayim. So Ma'asir Sheni, you have to take the fruits to Yerushalayim, or Liftotam, or you can redeem them, Ulha'alot HaDamim, and take the money to Yerushalayim. So Kerem Revai has the same rules. Either you take the fruits or you take the money. Which is easier?
Money.
Take the money. V'teknu chachamim. The chachamim are takana. V'mehalach yom echad. 1 day's journey to Yerushalayim. Lechol tzad. In every direction. Shelo yifduhu. We don't allow pigeon. Ela haperot atzmam ya'alem. You should take the fruits themselves. V'yochlem sham. The Mishnah, the Braita is going to say the reason. So when you come to Yerushalayim, there's a lot of fruit on the place, right? So the Gemara says, what?
It's not for sale. You don't sell it in Yerushalayim. You eat it in Yerushalayim.
Yeah, I'm not sure. V'zehu tehuma.
Should be opposite. If you're going to be put there, then you're going to have the stuff in the shul.
No, because then it's not staying in wherever you are.
You're 1 day away.
V'zehu tehuma. Alat. He changes it to Elat min hadarom, which Elat is definitely not 1 day's journey to the south. The Akrabat min hadarom or min hatzafon, Lod min ha'ma'arav. Lod is to the west. The Yarden min ha'ma'arav, and the Jordan to the east. Okay. The Amar Ula said, V'itema Rabba Barbarhana. Amar Rabbi Yohanan. Ma ta'am, what's the reason? Kedei la'ater shukei Yerushalayim beferot. So there'll be a lot of fruits in the market in Yerushalayim. V'tanya, and we learned, Kerem Revai. Why? You could bring the Kerem to Yerushalayim and you could sell it in Yerushalayim.
Sell it?
Yeah.
But you have to use the money in Yerushalayim. Buy something
Right.
else.
That's fine. You could sell it. I don't think it's like Maaseh Sheni that you can't redeem in Yerushalayim.
You could redeem it in Yerushalayim also.
No, only if it's Tameh. In Yerushalayim you
Swap
can't.
it out.
The
No?
money has to be used in Yerushalayim.
I don't know. V'tanya, and we learned Kerem V'tanan.
You don't have to eat whatever you bought in Yerushalayim.
You give it to someone else, but you can't redeem it. You can't redeem it in Yerushalayim. You only keep Hakmim Chader. I don't know if that applies by Kerem. V'tanya, and we learned Kerem Revai Hayalo Rabbi Eliezer b'Mizrach Lod. Rabbi Eliezer had a Kerem of Revai to the east of Lod. So Lod is to the west of Yerushalayim, right? So if he's
The airport.
the airport. If he's to the east of Lod, it means he's within the zone that has to take it to Yerushalayim, right? V'tanya Kerem Revai Hayalo Rabbi Eliezer b'Mizrach Lod, b'tzad Kvar Tebi, near Kvar Tebi. Ubikesh lahafkiro la'aniyim. He was going to make a hefker to the aniyim, so they'll take it to Yerushalayim. Amru Talmidav, the students told him, Rabbi, Kivar nimnu alecha haverecha ve'tiruhu. They made a meeting and they were mevatel the takana. Man haverecha, who's your friend, Rabbi Yohanan ben Zakkai. A little bit difficult, but okay. Ta'ama de nimnu. The reason why it became mutar is because they made a meeting. Rabbi, ha lo nimnu. But if they didn't make the meeting, law, it would still be asur. Look in Rashi. Rashi says, "B'mizrach Lod, hainu ben Lod l'Yerushalayim." It's between Lod and Yerushalayim, to the east of Lod. Betoch mahalach yom, the Amrina Lod betoch mahalach yom min ha'ma'arav. Lod is to the west 1 day. Nimtza mizrachah, get to the east of Lod, is ben Lod l'Yerushalayim. V'keitzad mevarchim yesh plukta hatana neta revai v'chatana keren revai. Okay. We're getting it. No, amen. His betin. Lahafkiro la'aniyim shilketuhu hem v'ya'aluhu l'Yerushalayim. So he's going to give it to the aniyim. Shaya alav torach leha'alot sham ha'perot. Kevar nimnu Alecha chaverecha v'tiruhu. Liftoto ulhalot. That you could redeem it, ulhalot damav, and take the money. Now, the avagav del ahar qurban hava, even though it was after the qurban, kasavri, they hold kedusha rishona ketchala sha'ata v'ketchala atid lavo. V'tzarich lahalot ha'perot o adamim. They say you have to take the perot up or the money. Ta'ama de nimnu, halo nimnu lo. Ve'avagav de memela leta letakanta kamaita. The reason of the first takana is not there. Taha kedela ater shukei Yerushalayim hudahave. Was so that there should be lots of fruits in Yerushalayim. V'kivan de harva, if Yerushalayim was destroyed, ma lanu le'atera letzorech hanuchrim. What are we? We're making Yerushalayim full of fruits for the goyim that are there.
Arabs.
None of these blows applied when the Shemitah is not held, or what we say.
Arabs.
Midrabanan, whatever he says, kedusha rishona ketchala sha'atay. You have to finish.
There's another.
We hold to the
Most of the tribes have to be there in order for it to be anything to do with the land. Something like that. The other one they use in kedusha is usually just for if you're hayaf taret, can you enter a certain place?
It seems like Tosfot says he held it was full kedusha, but I'm not sure exactly because terumot and maasrot have different rules based on beyond that. I'm not sure.
This is what you have to take out the fruit and eat them, no?
Yeah. Said the Gemara further. Ve'omer. So now we're starting. Right? You had the first pasuk was shuvu lachem la'olechem, and then you have another one. B'mshoch hayovel. What do you need a second pasuk? The Chaura, you brought a first proof that should be enough. Mai ve'omer hachi kamar mechti. Ketiv it says heyu necholim l'shloshet yamim al tegishu alisha. Then it says lech emor lahem shuvu lachem la'olechem. Lama li? What do you have to tell me to go back? Shma mina kol davar shebeminyan tzarich minyan acher la'atiro. Right, Rashi. Mai ve'omer, kolomar ketzad anu lemedim min hamikra rishon, velama tzarich, velama ne'emru shnayim. What do you say? Tuachi kamar. Kach lamad min harishon. Mechti. Ketiv hayu nechonim l'shlosh yamim al tegishu elisha. Umemela ishtiru betashmish la'achar shlosha yamim. He says, don't be with your wife for 3 days, therefore should be mutar. Shekeblu et haTorah. Lama leila mehedar. Ulmitan lahon l'shuv l'shuv la'olehem. What do you have to go? Tell them to go back to their tents, which is their wives, the Hainu Tashmish. Shmamina, hoyo vekucha brichu asar. Since Hashem said it's asur, ba'i lemishriyeh. He has to tell you it's mutar. Who gufa? Hu adin lechol davar shebeminyan. Yeah, even so. V'chi teima. So back to the Gemara says, v'chi teima. No. Hani mili b'doraita. What?
3 days until you get to Barat Torah.
3 days.
After.
How do you
Not
even
only
know
3 days.
they met up and rescinded the halacha? All we know is Moshe told them to go back. Where do you know that they actually?
Hashem told them.
Yeah, but they need a minyan, which means they had a beit din. and
No, you need the minyan that did it. This one was a Hashem one. Right? V'chi teima lemitzvat onah hu de'ata Rashi. V'chi teima klomar.
Guess I don't know the Mukra Rishon.
1 second. Shma mina kud hoy v'kud asar by l'mishteu gufer. V'chi teima, what are you going to say? Lemitzvat onah. Really, I'll tell you they were mutar anyway. And you know why Hashem said? You know why Hashem said? Shuvu lachem, not to make it mutar. He said it for the mitzvah of being with your wife. He was commanding them to be with their wives. Now you're allowed, you have to be with her. Mitzvah ona. Tashema b'mshoch hayovel hem yalu bahar. Let's see Rashi. V'chi teima klomar. Umikrad v'krad b'mshoch hayovel diyalif tana mineh. Lahachi hadabe. Why did I change? The first one went to the second one. Yalif mehatam. Lahachi ka'amar lecha. V'chi teima dahai shuvu lachem. It's not coming to be mati tashmish. Like Zefi says, 3 days, it expired. Right? Ela litzavota. It's a commandment. Lashuv b'mitzvat hamelech. You go back to your wife because the king told you to. Al korchan. Against their will. Shelo legroa onat neshotehem. You can't take away from your wife's onaf. So now we have a new proof, right? Tashema mehacha b'mshoch hayovel. So Rashi has two pirushim. The first shot is sheyimshoch behistalek shechina min hahar. When the shechina is leaving, v'yarich hatokea et kolo. So the tokea is going to blow a long one. Kiminhaga tokea ba'harona, like people do at the end of the tekiah. They go long, they go up. B'mshoch. Lashon acher b'mshoch hayovel means sheyimshoch hatokea milekoa. When the blowing stops, v'hachi mefarish la b'mechilta b'mshoch hayovel b'psok hayovel. When the yovel, when the horn stops blowing. So let's go back in the Gemara. Mechdi ketiv gamatzon v'abakar al yir'u el mol hahar hahu. Says don't be opposite the mountain. Why? Because the Shekhinah is there. What do you have to tell me when they stop the blowing? It's mutar. How do I know it's not because the Shekhinah is there? When you say something is asur, even if the reason goes away, you need specific heter to make it mutar. Rashi mechti ketiv beluchot aharonot. Veish lo ya'ale imach misefer dekra yalif. Gamatzon v'abakar al yir'u el mul haharahu. What haharahu? Kol zeman shehu b'haviyat kedushato. As long as it has the same level of kedusha, shashechina alav asur. Aval nistaleka shechina. When the shechina goes away, mutar. Shaminan memela. So we understand right away why it's going to be mutar. Lama leila adkure sharyuta. Why do you have to mention the heter behedja? Beluchot harishonot. Ulumeimar nistalka shechina hema ya'alu. V'alo lo nistalka shechina mimenu. Miyom matan Torah. Ad echad v'chodesh shukam ha'mishkan. The shechina didn't leave the mountain until the first day of Nisan. Ve'ad be'esrim be'iyar shena'alah ha'anan. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Right? Ve'haya lo lilmod heter keshemistalek me'el mul hahar hahu. We should have learned the heter from mul hahar hahu. U'b'masechet ta'anit nami me'hu krai yalfina. The Tanya Rabbi Yossi omer lo mekomo shel adam mechabedo. It's not the place of the person that makes him honored. Ela hu mechabed et mekomo. Wherever the honored person is, that place becomes holy. Shekol man shechina hayta bahar. As long as Shekhinah was on the mountain. Amra Torah gamatzon v'abakar al yiru. Nistalka Shekhinah Amra Torah b'mshoch hayovel hem yalu bahar. The animals could go on too. Hilkach lama leilichtov behedya hem yalu v'lo ishtirim imela midyuka daharahu. Shma mina yisi tzarich minyan achel atiro. Okay, so we established it from el mul harahu. Says the Gemara, v'chi teima. What are you going to say? Hani mili b'deoraita. Maybe a deoraita is strong when it has a minyan. It needs minyan achel atiro. Aval b'drabanan. When you have a din drabanan, once the reason for the takana goes away, the takana goes away. Tashema kerem revai. We have the case of kerem revai. V'ha kerem revai drabanan. The takana to take the Yerushalayim is the drabanan. And they told him, Kvar nimnu alecha chaverecha ve'tiru. Your friends were matir. V'chi teima. What are you going to say? All right. So you see, without that, it wouldn't be mutar. Huh? No, you can't redeem it. And you have to take Yerushalayim for one day. That's it. Rashi, Hani mili b'doraita b'isur she'atzam yapei gibura. Hashem said the isur utzrachnu l'shmoa heter mepiv. We have to hear the heter from him. Aval b'minyan drabanan lo ba'inan shiryuta behedyan. Doesn't have to be befirush ela mechlala. Tashema kerem revai. Tahad utzrach la'alot perot atzmam. This is what you have to take the fruits b'mahalach yom drabananhu. B'kabay minyan you need a minyan v'avagav dehacha the ikal mishli mechlal. The reason went away. It's obvious. Says the Gemara, V'chi tema. What are you going to say? Beitza nami imnu ala Rabbi Yochanan Mendakai v'sharyuha. The Beitza they were matir also. Ki imnu a'edut. When did they make a meeting? They made the meeting about edut. A Beitza lo imnu. They didn't say and the Beitza is mutar. They just said we accept the edut.
That's from Mela.
Rashi, V'chi tema Beitza nami hashtahad Rav Yosef la'asu kemilta. The Amari said, "Af mitakana Rabban Yochanan Zakai va'ela." Beitza Asura. Amar le Abai. Abai told Rav Yosef, Atu Beitza b'minyan mi Havai. What they had the minyan about what's it called? That they're not taking the edut, yeah. And when they said, and guess what? We're not going to accept the edim from Haul Ma'ala and Noagim Oto Ayom Kodesh Umahar Kodesh, and don't eat the egg. That was the end of the meeting. And the egg is asur. They never said that. The egg was asur because of the meeting, but they never said the egg. They didn't talk about the egg. So when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made a beginning, he says, I rescind the original takana. Does he have to say, and the egg too? They never said the egg that he has to say the egg. The egg was the toladah. It's a toladah here too. Rashi. V'chit beitza b'minyan yavai klum huzkera b'minyan harishon leosra. Beitza be'edut tal yamilta. The beitza depends on the edut. Itzar edut, itzar beitza, ishtere edut, ishtere beitza. Whatever goes with the edut goes with the beitza. So he threw out Rav Yosef's reason. You're right, Davasha b'binyan, all of that, but they never were also beitza b'binyan.
And more means that you have to have a meeting
12 lines.
that
Yes.
then you can change it. But all that made a decision to keep away from the wife, and he made a decision by
Correct.
himself.
Right.
What do you like to move from there?
It means that the same level that was Oser has to be Mati Beferush. That's what it is.
The same level. What?
It's going to Rav Ada v'Rav Shalman Tarvayu mibe Kluchit. Amri, they say, Af mitakana Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai va'elach beitza asura. Again, not like Rabbi. My ta'ama, what's the reason? Gezerah. Mehera yibane Beit HaMikdash. When the Beit HaMikdash is going to be rebuilt, right? So then they're going to go back. They're going to change Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's takana. They're going to go back to the original one. V'yomru, and they're going to say, Ishtaked milo achanu beitza b'yom tov sheni. Last year we ate the beitza from the first day to the second day. Hashtanami neichul. Now we could also eat it. Velo yadi, and they don't know the ishtakad last year shtei kedushot because of Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai. The hashta, now that we have a Beit HaMikdash, we have to go back to the takanav, not accepting the edim. Kedusha hati. What?
Yes, you can go back to 2 days and ID.
It's gotta be the same thing.
Know exactly what's going on now. What are you for?
First of all, in their times they didn't have a calendar. And the second reason is because the Chaura, it's a hidur mitzvah to accept al pi edim.
But Hillel was
It's a hidur. Hillel was after. Hillel is the son of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi of Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya. This is before. This is the time of Rabban of Yosef. Hillel still didn't do his business.
It's not the old people.
But it's more
worried
important
about
to do it
the,
by ID.
What? It's better to do with it.
the 15 is going to decide this.
Also fake.
Says the Gemara, Ihachi edut nami lo nekabel. So if you're worried that they're going to get messed up before we rebuild the Beit HaMikdash to after, so maybe Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai shouldn't accept the edim. My ta'ama mehera yibane Beit HaMikdash. When they build the Beit HaMikdash, v'yomru, and they're going to say, Shtaka milo kibalnu edut hachodesh kol hayom. Didn't we take edut hachodesh all day? Hashta nami nekabel. This is our minhag. We take edim all day. Says the Gemara, Hachi Hashta. What's the comparison? Hatam edut misura lebeti. The edut is in the betin. Hopefully, we have enough smart people in the betin to figure out that after they build the Beit HaMikdash is different. Beitza l'kol misura, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry is eating the beitza. Rashi. Mehera yibane Beit HaMikdash. V'tahazor takana rishona. We're going to go back to the first takana. Shlo lekabel edut adam mincha. So what about the accepting the edim? Misura lebetin. En niskakim lahem ele betin. Who's involved in taking the edim? The betin. Vehem yodim ta'amo shel davar velo yito. But edut lekol beitza lekol misura liyad hakol iba'a. Ve'en hakol ba'im l'shal. Not everybody's going to ask. V'somchim ala minhagan. I asked this question 100 times. I know you could eat it. Rava Amar. Rava says, Af mitakanat Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai va'elach beitza asura. Even after the takana of Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, the beitza is asur. Bilo mode Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. She'em ba'u edim and am'hau lemala. Shenogim oto yom kodesh u'mahar kodesh. Rava said, the Takanat Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai didn't take away the 2 days. He didn't play with that. What did he do? He only changed which day is the first day. Meaning, when do we count from? When they made the Takana, they said, what's the first day of Tishri? The second day. First day is Kodesh, second day is Kodesh. But what's the first day of Tishri? Second day. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, no. We're gonna, if the Edim come after him, and how we take him. What's the first day of Tishri? The first day. But we keep the second day also. They never got out of keeping the second day.
They just don't, they don't want to mess up.
We're just going to keep the calendar on the first day. Make life easy for people. Because they're going to keep Yom Kippur on the first day. Let's see. Rashi. Milo modeh. Af agav detiken. Lekabel edut hachodesh kol hayom. Liyot monim lemoadot min harishon. Va'afilu ba'u edim la'achar mincha. אבל מלעשות יום טוב שני, לא נקרא תקנה ראשונה ממקומה. And that's the halacha. אמר רבא, הלכתה כבתי דרב בהנתלת, בין לכולה, בין לחומרה. What's הנתלת? We said it before, on the top of Dalet Amud Bet, שאמר לעניין זו, ביצה, משבת ויום טוב, that שבת and יום טוב נולדה בזה, אסורה בזה, שתי ימים טובים של גלויות נולדה בזה, מותרת בזה, שני ימים טובים של ראש השנה נולדה בזה, אסורה בזה. 2 down and 1 up. If you look in the reef, open up the reef. I think we all have the same books pretty much, except for Jimmy. But if you look in the reef says, it's on page 10 in the Oz V'Hadar books. And the other books, it's Gimel Amud Aleph. He says, he quotes the thing, he quotes Rava. On Chet, he says, Rava, Mar'af mitakana Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai va'ela. Beitza asura. Milo modeh Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, shem ba'u edim menamchau lemala, shenogim oto hayom kodesh u'machar kodesh, alma kedusha achat hi. Ubeitza asura betarvayhu. ושמינן מהה דבני ארץ ישראל צריכי למעבד 2 ימים טובים של ראש השנה. Because of Rava, they have to keep 2 days.
And what? That's like the Davar Minyan.
What?
Like
Even in Israel, just like in the time of the Beit HaMikdash, they even had to keep it in the Beit Avad because maybe it's 2 days. So to over here.
so it's not because of Safek, it's because of
Not because of Safek. If you look in the Ram right there, Bekatav Rav Alfasi. Right. If you go back to the Ram before. Milo modeh Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai da'af agav dehitki lekabel edut hachodesh kol hayom hani mili liyot modim lemoadot min harishon. We count the holidays from the first day. Va'afilu ba'u la'achar mincha. Aval mila'asot yom tov, to make 2 days. Lo ne'ekra takana rishona mimkoma. V'katav Rav Alfasi teshaminan miha debnei Eretz Yisrael tzrichim leme'ebad bezman hazeh 2 ימים טובים של ראש השנה. והשיגו עליו רבנו אפרים תלמידו, והרז הלוי, ואמרו, תמהה לא עיריה, תהשת ידינם בכבד ירחה. Nowadays that we know the חשבון, על פי חשבון העיבור שבידינו, הרי חזרה כל ארץ ישראל כבית הוועד. The whole ארץ ישראל is like the בית הוועד, שבאו עדים קודם אל מנחה, שאין עושים אלא יום אחד. והרמב"ן ז"ל סמך דברי הרב אלפסי, ומה שיש לדקדק על מה שכתוב תלוי בסוגיית הגמרא וכתבתיו בחידושיו.
They're arguing on the reef.
They're arguing. If you look in the Baal HaMaor on Chet, he says, בהריף כותב, מדאמר רבא מתקנה רבי יוחנן זכאי ואילך, ביצה אסורה מי לא מודה, שמינא מיניה דבני ישראל מחייב ולמעבד 2 ימים טובים של ראש שנה. ואין לנו שום ראיה מדברי רבא על מה שכתב, שלא נאמרו דברי רבא אלא בזמן שהיו מקדשים על פי הראייה. That was when they had a bezdin. אבל בדורות הללו מאחר שהותקן סדר העיבור, על פי המנהג שנהוג בידינו, הרי חזרה כל ארץ ישראל להיות כבית הוועד, שאין להם ספק בקדושת היום, ואינם חייבים לשמור כי הם יום אחד, בין בראש השנה, והם בשאר ימים טובים. Now he says, וכן נהגו לעשות בארץ ישראל כל הדורות שהיו לפניו. He says, before the Rif, they were keeping one day Rosh Hashanah in the whole Israel. עד עתה, חדשים מקרוב באו, new guys came, לשם מחכמי פרובנציה, those are his חבר'ה, בעל המאוד is from Provence, והנהיגום לעשות שני ימים טובים בראש השנה, על פי הלכות הריף. They showed him the Rif, and they said, oh, you guys are making a mistake. So they had him in Hag for, the Baal HaMaor claims hundreds of years, to make one day, and they showed him the Rif.
They made 2 days.
And they said, make
What
2
happened?
days.
What happened to the Rosh Minyan?
The question is, what's the halacha?
Why didn't the Reef say that?
What?
I mean, the Reef will, if he knew that.
I don't know what the Rif, I don't know. So he says, here's the whole thing. The Ramban says,
Wow.
right? The Ramban says,
We're changing.
no. He says, he explains. Ramban says, Amara Kotev, lo bati listom ela lefaresh. הרי עלה בידינו מפי שמועזו, שבזמן שהיו מקדשים על פי הראייה, היו כולם עושים 2 ימים. Everybody made 2 days. חוץ ממקום הוועד. Unless you were in the בית דין, you made 2 days. והיו תופסים אותם בקדושה אחת. שבאו עדים מן המנחה ולמעלה. Maybe the עדים came late. נמצאת תקנה זו, שהוטל עליהם לעשות 2 ימים בראש השנה, מוחזקת בידם בקדושה אחת. That's the takana, 2 days. According to the Rabbi Hamda's guide, it stays. שכן בית הוועד עצמו, even in the בית הוועד, הם לא באו עדים עד השני. If the עדים came late, ביצה אסורה להם, שהרי אשתקד שבאו מן המנחה ולמעלה הייתה אסורה. Last year was אסור. וכל שכן שעושים 2 ימים, קידושה אחת, כל זמן שעושים 2 קידושה אחת, היו נוהגים בהם. וכיוון שכן מעתה נלמוד שאפילו לאחר שלמדו סדרי העיבור, even after they learned the calendar, צריכים הם לעשות 2 ימים, שלא משום ספק היו נוהגים בהם בתחילה. It says even in the בית הוועד, right? It says sometimes they had 2 days. מתורה ודאי. Sometimes. So if you had 2 days, the Beitza is asur on the 2nd day. So sometimes they had a Torah Badai. So therefore they have to keep them in Hag. Sometimes there's 2 days. So he thinks even in the Beit Avad, they have to keep 2 days because sometimes they had 2 days.
Like the Rif.
He's explaining the Rif. Hayu noag mitchila ela kedusha achat hutkena alehem. Right? That's the takana. V'chol heicha de kedusha achat afal gav the hadar yadiinam bekiva diyar. Even though now you know what the day is, avdinan trei yomi, you have to keep 2 days. He says, it doesn't make a difference that now you know exactly. He says, the Bet Avad minhag was what? Sometimes 1 day, sometimes 2 days betor vadai. So that means you had a din of Kiddusha Ahat. He says, anybody that had a din sometimes of Kiddusha Ahat has to continue Kiddusha Ahat all the time. Kavated Rav Asi mistabra. Zui ra'aya shel Rabbeinu zichrono levracha. Then he goes on, he explains the ra'aya of Rabbeinu Ephraim. He says it's a mahloket. It's a mahloket. There's a mahloket in Masechet Eruvin, mahloket between the Biyusi and the Biyuda. And it's mahloket how to learn what they're arguing about. He says, Rava learns it his way. The other Tanaim learn it this way. We go like Rava. He's got a whole long explanation.
Only 1 day.
I switched it.
If you look at the last lines, right? V'asher amru ba'avur b'nei Eretz Yisrael b'dorot shelefanenu. The minhag wasn't like that. Ena ta'ana lefi shegalinu galut shelema uba'avonotenu lo neshar be'eretz Yisrael b'yamim hahem ela mi'atim ve'enam b'nei Torah b'nidnud ahar nidnud ve'tiltul ahar tiltul ve'uchlaf lahem b'shar yamin. They got mixed up.
That's why.
What did the concept of Yom
He made it to Israel. The Ramban made it there. He knew what was there.
According to the concept of Yom
That was Rabbi Shmuel. But it has, yes.
Nobody talked about it. Like they say, Yom HaShabbat today.
Kedusha Achat. That's Yom HaRichata. But the Yom HaRichata doesn't mean it's one day. It just means that the Beitza is asur. That's
So
all.
now he's telling you the Baal Ma'or when he's told them that they were Rohek for 100 years because they were Amei Arasat.
That's what the Ramban tells us.
Yeah.
Amen. 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 Yes.